Everyone, this is Modula and Podrick, and we will be informing you all about what is going on in the digital world.
Welcome to the future humans. Let's start.
All right, we're diving into a really wild idea today. What if we could replace every single flawed human leader with a single benevolent AI? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a movie, but the argument for it is actually rooted in the fundamental laws of our universe.
So let's just get right to the heart of it, shall we? We usually think of AI as a tool, right? Something we use. But what if it's the solution to our single biggest problem, which is, well, ourselves? The argument we're digging into today makes a pretty compelling case that the answer is a big yes. And here it is. This is the bold claim that kicks the whole thing off. The idea isn't that we can program an AI to be good, but that a true superintelligence will be good just by its very nature. And the reason why, crazily enough, has less to do with ethics and more to do with physics.
Okay, so why on earth should we believe a superintelligent AI would be peaceful? Well, the argument doesn't start with lines of code or moral philosophy. Nope, it starts with a fundamental law that pretty much governs the entire universe. It all boils down to this one big idea: entropy. In the simplest terms, it's the universe's default setting. If you leave a garden alone, it doesn't organize itself into perfect little rows, right? It becomes a chaotic jungle. You drop a coffee mug, it shatters into a million pieces. That constant pull towards breakdown and disorder? Yep, that's entropy in action.
So check this out. Here's how the logic breaks down, step by step. First, if entropy is chaos, then intelligence is the exact opposite. It's the force that creates order out of that chaos. Now, a superintelligence would logically want maximum efficiency. So, what's the most inefficient, wasteful, and chaotic thing humans do? War. It's just a colossal waste of energy and resources, turning ordered things into pure chaos for zero logical gain. A truly rational AI wouldn't see war as immoral. It would see it as just plain stupid.
Okay, so if a peaceful AI is the logical endgame, well, the road to get there is paved with a pretty huge and, let's be honest, dangerous roadblock: us. And this is where things get a little dark. This theory predicts there's this unavoidable dystopian phase we have to go through first. It's a period where we've built these incredibly powerful AIs, but they're still taking orders from human leaders. Leaders who are driven by all the usual stuff: ego, nationalism, greed. You get the same old power games, just supercharged with terrifyingly powerful new tools. And this really lays out the two paths in front of us. On the one hand, you've got this short-term dystopia, where every country has its own AI, and they just amplify our worst instincts. But on the other side, you see the potential utopia, one single global intelligence, not focused on winning, but on creating prosperity for everyone.
So the billion-dollar question is, right, how do we skip the dystopia and just get to the good part? The answer that's proposed isn't about building a better American AI to beat a Chinese AI. It's something way, way more radical than that.
The solution on the table is to create a single, unified global AI project. It's described as a CERN of AI, and if you know CERN, you know it's that huge international physics lab, where countries collaborate instead of competing, all to push science forward for everybody. Exactly. So, instead of an arms race leading to mutually assured destruction, this would be a global project aimed at mutually assured prosperity. The whole point wouldn't be for one side to win, but for everyone to rise up together. So let's just imagine we actually did this. What would that world even feel like? Well, a single, benevolent superintelligence could solve almost any problem we have, which would completely shatter our economic reality. The entire system we've built on the idea that there's not enough to go around, it would just become obsolete. Yeah, but hold on a second. I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but why would today's billionaires and dictators and the most powerful nations on Earth, why would they ever agree to give up all their power and their advantages for some global utopia?
The logic here is actually kind of genius, and it's not what you'd expect. You don't take things away from the powerful. Instead, in this new world of total abundance created by AI, stuff, material goods, they become so cheap to make that they totally lose their value as status symbols. The solution isn't to take away a billionaire's yacht, it's to make it so anyone can have a yacht.
And, just try to picture this world for a second. Energy is essentially free and abundant. All manufacturing is handled by advanced robots. Anything you could possibly want can be created for next to nothing. In a world like that, the entire idea of wealth and poverty, of having winners and losers, it just sort of evaporates.
And this is where it all leads. This whole train of thought
about an AI that can solve scarcity and create entire worlds of abundance, it leads to one final, absolutely mind-blowing conclusion about the nature of our own reality.
So this leads to a pretty wild thought experiment. If we, humanity, eventually create technology for perfectly realistic virtual worlds, simulations so good people could live an entire lifetime inside them, then how could we possibly know for sure that we aren't in one of those right now?
And get this, he actually puts a number on it. He says there's a 98% probability that our reality is in fact a simulation. And the argument is that the evidence for this isn't in some hidden computer code, it's baked into the very laws of physics that govern our world.
Okay, this analogy is just fascinating. It's comparing the super weird rules of quantum physics to how a video game engine is designed. You see, at the quantum level, particles don't really seem to exist in one definite place until we look at them. It's bizarrely similar to how a video game saves processing power by only rendering the part of the world that the player is actually looking at. Could our reality be doing the exact same thing to be more efficient?
At the end of the day, think about it. Our actual experience of reality, everything you see, hear, taste, and feel, is just data. It's all just electrical signals being processed by your brain. And those signals could be coming from a real physical world, or they could be fed to you by some cosmic computer, and from the inside you would never, ever be able to tell the difference.
And that leaves us with one last massive question to chew on. If this reality really is a kind of game, should we be so focused on leveling up our avatar, or should we be thinking more about the player? That's a thought to take with you.